Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. Today I'm going to be reviewing one of my oldest and longtime favorite role playing game. I'm going to call it a supplement, even though technically it is a game in its own right. For the most part, everybody I've ever met has always used it as a supplement to Dungeons and Dragons or other role playing games. Um, it was made by a guy named David A Hargrave who passed away really early in life, in his mid 30s, back in the 1980s, and I was just, I want to say 13 or 14 years old when I discovered his books, and they were the hottest thing back at the Unicorn's Lair, a place I used to work and game at, which I'm going to talk about later on in another episode because it was a great place, and I really cut my teeth there and got my start as a dungeon master for hire there, literally and figuratively. Uh, these are the first three books of the series, and many of them came out, I want to say, long after he had passed away. Emperor's Choice has just come back from the ashes of a long hiatus where they were selling not just these wonderful miniatures you'll see here in a minute, but all of the works of Hargrave, all of his books, his maps and supplements and art cards of monsters and artifacts and various things in the lore of his world of just wonderfulness. He was an interesting guy to say the least. He had some unique ideas and perspectives, but he also had some issues. Nobody's perfect, and with every touch of genius comes a touch of madness, and he had plenty of both to spare. The first book, as with the other three books, have lots of ideas and essays and tips and tricks and perspectives, but for me, a lot of that stuff has been fixed or modified to the extent that I don't really use all of his ideas, especially like his critical hit and fumble tables, which I believe he was the first guy to bring those out into the open, and for that alone, he might go down with infamy in the record books because those charts were just brutal. I saw no need for them. They were just about killing characters, and there's no need to arbitrarily go and do that when player characters will get themselves killed just fine, thank you. But I use these books for three main reasons: the monsters, as you can see, the miniatures that I have here on the table. Most of these are Emperor's Choice miniatures. They've been around for a long time. And the other two things I use them for are the spells, which some of them are, go above like 9th and 10th level. Some are 15th and 20th level spells, which was actually cool because we had magic users who were, well above 18th level in my campaigns who were like, well, there's no more spells. And I was like, well, I got some here you can fiddle around with. Um, and a lot of the spells were just duplicates of other spells or modifications, web spells that did different things, and just all kinds of different spells. But my favorite thing, besides the monsters, they're kind of tied, was his magic item lists, and they weren't even artifacts, but they were incredibly powerful, incredibly funny, and incredibly useful for all my players. And for those reasons alone, these books are worth picking up. Unfortunately, these original editions that I have here run between $75 and $150 if you can find them. I've had mine for a good long time. And this morning when I was doing some research on Arduin, I came across a fellow YouTuber, Tankar's Tavern, and he like me is an absolute diehard fan of all things Arduin. So when you're done watching my video, if you want any more insights, maybe go check him out. He's actually in direct contact with Emperor's Choice, and they sent him a lot of neat goodies, and which shows me that all those items are going to be available shortly the Emperor's Choice website is a little difficult to maneuver around and find things, but I'm pretty sure that it won't be long before it's up and running. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do a Kickstarter, which would have, you know, been, probably a thing I would have backed, despite my wallet being a little light this month. But needless to say, I will be grabbing everything I can to fill in the little empty spots of my collection. Not a lot, but definitely will be picking up multiples of all of the miniatures, and then we'll paint them here on the channel for you guys, because like this thing is just, it's a great horror. This miniature is just brutal. It's just, I just love this miniature. The characters and humanoids and monsters, also phenomenal miniatures. I think some of these were put out by Rob Partha back in the day, but I'm not 100% on that. But either way, they're all, unique to say the least. And I hope you guys will, if you can, if you're gonna manage it, and I don't recommend trying to go get the collector's editions, the old original prints, when you can pick up most of the books for like $15 a piece. These little, digest size volumes, and they also have one book that has the first three in a hardback edition, which I can't wait to get, so I can file these away and leave them, to weather the test of time in safety, because every time I take them out, I know they lose a hit point each. So with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys will check out Arduin and Tenkar's Tavern. Let me know what you think in the comment section, if there's any old grognards out there that remember Dave as I do, fondly. And as always, Arduin Eternal. We'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great weekend. Good night, everybody.